Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, I'm returning a missed call that I received from this number.
Yes. Is this last name Cobb?
Cons?
Cars, yes.
Yeah, it's
okay. Hold on one second. I called you earlier, and this was about your this was about a case. I think it was your boyfriend's case, or
yeah, my fiance.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Let me find it here.
I'm sorry, who am I speaking with?
Oh, this is Dan Corona. This is I'm with the law offices of Mike Line.
Okay.
I got a note here. I'm just trying to find my notes from this morning when I did that. I will find it in a second.
Okay.
You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was right in front of me there. I'll find it. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, I briefly read, I guess your description of what was going on.
Mhm.
And I guess he was arrested. Was this Los Angeles?
No, actually, it was this happened in San Bernardino County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was in between. It happened in between because it's right in the borderline of Colton and San Bernardino. But we were actually in Colton, but San Bernardino Police Department SWAT was sent out. So it's a very complex story. So yeah. But it's pretty solid, as far as I'm very confident with us being innocent in regards to what happened to us, because I actually was arrested with him. So
yeah. Well, there is a guy, Steven Rodriguez, and he's in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you his number, and he deals with nothing but criminal. That's mainly what he's doing, and I can give you his number. You would call him,
okay,
and then he'll kind of review your case, look at it, and that's the best guy that I could think of right offhand. And then he may refer you to one of his other attorneys there. Mm-hmm. That it depends on the situation. Just depends on what he thinks the case is.
Yeah. Well, this case is actually, it's not a new case, not a recent case. This case actually has already occurred, and my fiance is actually he actually did get charged. He got charged with what he didn't do. So So basically I'm looking for, cause I just, it's just been so much that still has happened afterwards. And it's just like, I feel like there's been no justice at all served. And we just been getting, nothing but our civil rights violated, like from left to right, so, basically, so he did get charged, with the alleged, crime, which he didn't do because I was there when it did not happen. I was a witness to it not happening, So they still did obviously take him in and stuff. I was arrested on I was actually arrested from a warrant I had from like years ago. I have a clean record now, so. But it's just the whole, I just started to think about everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, how the heck did they even get away with any of it, First of all, there was no cops called, there was no 911 phone call placed, so there's that one, and then it was like the warrant that they used wasn't even a arrest warrant to even arrest him, and when they did go, we weren't even home, because at the time we resided with his parents. And we actually weren't even home when they showed up at the residence. And when they did the search, it wasn't even, a proper warrant that they used. And then the warrant that they did use was I don't know if you're familiar with a Rami warrant.
Yeah.
Okay. So they used that, but it wasn't. It just I seen the document. It didn't. It made no sense. Actual Rami. It was just retarded. So. Then they waited a week later and took us both in, like I said, separate charges, but they waited that long. And so I don't know how that's possible, but I guess because they're cops or whatever, but it wasn't SWAT team. It was, Specialized Enforcement Division. That's what they're called over there. And they actually got us on I wrote, on the sidewalk. It wasn't a residence, it wasn't a house, so they didn't even have a warrant for that at all. So I don't know how that's, how that got passed.
Yeah. So what was your fiance charged with?
Because
what was he supposed to do?
Because my son, well, I don't even know where my son is right now, but at the time my son was barely a couple of months old. He was maybe 4 or 5 months old. Okay, CPS took him from the hospital. I'm just giving you a brief run. I'm not going to tell you the whole. I'll spare you that. But so the whole thing is based on my son. Okay, so my son was suffering in the temporary foster placement, and he was being neglected. He had really bad physical. Anyways, so what ended up happening is he was upset. Well, we both were upset, but when we went to notify one of the workers and make a complaint to them, like, well, why is our son going, what the heck is going on, So what ended up happening is, I guess, to, I don't know, save them their behinds or whatever, then they basically retaliated and made those false allegations up. So then that's when they just made when the worker that actually, it was a social worker who even started all this. He was my work, because I have 5 children, and he was a worker from like 3 years prior to that. So it was just it's just filled with just nonsense and obscurities. It's just like, what the heck, So that's how it all started, with a false police report. And then I actually got a hold of, because when he actually got released, he's been doing good. He's on parole, but he's working. He's doing good, and he actually came home with the file of like everything, like all the documents, everything, all the police reports. Yeah. And it says on the document that there was no police called. It straight out says, was 911 called? It says no. And so, and then I called the actual, because it's through the sheriff's department, right? I actually spoke with one of the deputies there, and he told me that there's not even a police report that even exists regarding the file at all. The only thing he said that is on file is something about I forgot what the word is, but it's not a police, there's no police report. So.
But was it an incident report?
Yeah, it was basically, I forgot what the word is, but when like someone calls to dispatch or something, but it wasn't. It makes no sense. But I know for sure there is no police report because I verified that, I confirmed that, and then I even have the paper that actually says that there was never any police called. So how did that even, you know?
So what was he charged with?
Terrorist threats, So when we went to go visit my son that day, they had informed us that we were now going to be getting less time. And mind you, I was only getting, I believe we both were getting like 1 or 2 hours a week for a newborn. So we were very, you know, of course, because we actually do care and love our child, you know. So we were pretty much devastated. But we didn't argue with anybody. We didn't, you know, at all did we threaten anybody. He actually left the premises. He was so, excuse my language, he was so pissed off that he actually just walked out the door. And actually he walked across the street. There's like a 99-cent store or something, some sort of store, and he was nowhere around. And well, how do I know this? Because I was there, and had he been there, I would have known, you know. And so would have the security guards, because they have security guards on the premises, and we know them as well. Like, you know, considering we go at the time we were going every week to see my son, so we knew, you know, who's who and stuff. They knew us by name. But so when after the arrest happened, I even went to go interview some of the security guards to confirm that it never did happen. Although I already knew that, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, there's whoever was trying to make up the story and make it stick. It just, even they told me, they're like, huh, what? They had no idea what the heck I was talking about. I go, exactly, because it never happened. Had it happened, you guys know that you guys would have known, right? And he would have been arrested here, not, you know, he wouldn't even have made it. We wouldn't even have left the building if that would have happened. So, that's what happened. So they basically just made up a false police report that never existed and does not exist, and said that he threatened a judge and a social worker. That totally did not happen at all whatsoever. They just made it up. So whatever.
So that was what he was charged with?
Yes, he took a plea deal. They were trying to give him it was anywhere from 10 years to life, because he's a felon. He has part, you know. So they added enhancements to the deal, and thank God, because he only served about a year and a half. He was on, and he got out in May of 2021. So. But, you know, since that and he, prior to that arrest, he was off parole, because we've been together for about 10 years. We have 5 kids, like I said. Excuse me. For about those first, since that has happened, it was only 8 at the time. So during those whole 8 years, he was not on parole or anything, you know. So that should obviously speak for itself. But now, you know, he has this, you know, thing hanging over him, and he's constantly worried about, you know, who's next to try to, you know, throw something on. And it's crazy. I never knew that was possible. I always thought that, oh, you know, people just, you know, people are corrupt and people just, that's crazy. So anybody can just go and say, oh, hey, such and such did this, and it's not even true, and get away with it. That's ridiculous to me, that people actually, and it's not just anybody. There's these government, you know, officials and employees that are doing this, and for what? Just to ruin people's lives? It's ludicrous. So I'm just trying to see what I can do about this, and just
So also, what was it that you're wanting to happen? I mean, what are you after?
Well, and also because, you know, when they did arrest us, it was, I mean, I'm not a big, well, first of all, I'm a female. Okay. When they had actually took me, I was actually sitting in my friend's vehicle, and like I said, I had nothing to do with this. But since I was close to it. You know, he was on the sidewalk. He was standing outside of the car that I was in. But I at the same time, I was inside the vehicle, and when I seen them get him, because they came and just rushed him and tackled him, I closed the door and locked it. I had all the windows up. There was no way anybody could get in. So, and they had no right to even, you know, but they still did. So they were pounding on. There was like at least three they're huge guys, okay, and I'm maybe 125 pounds. I'm like 5'5", okay, maybe 5'7" with heels. But it was, I vividly remember these big guys, three tall men. Obviously they were, you know, government agents or whatever, because they weren't dressed, they weren't SWAT, they weren't police, they were like, they literally, and I didn't see not one cop, like regular cop car anywhere in sight. They were all in undercover cars, okay? So they came and rushed, after they got him, they came and rushed to my side of the door, and they were basically banging on and I could already see that they had rifles and I don't know what kind, if they were like AR, I don't know what type of gun they were, but they were pretty big guns, okay? And they had them all pointing at me, and then they were yelling, come out with your hands up. And with my experience, because I actually do have a family member that was killed by LAPD, but I'm not going to get into that story. So I have a pretty big fear and PTSD when it comes to police in general, you know. So I just did whatever, you know, they said. So I came out. As soon as I put my hands up, all three of those men grabbed me, tackled me, and just slammed, like literally body slammed me to the cement ground, and then proceeded to put their, you know how that one, I forgot his name, George Floyd, that guy that was killed by the police officer, that was a big old thing, did the same thing to me pretty much, and had his knee on in the back of my back and my neck, and was just and telling me I was stop resisting, and I'm like trying to breathe, and so I'm like, excuse me, can you please get off of me? Like, you know, this is insane. Like, and then I also noticed while that was happening that they still had, his name is Jason, the father of my children. They had him on the floor still, and it was already like going, I'm not kidding you, there should have been no reason why he should have been up off the ground. And I don't know what they were doing, because it was a lot of commotion and stuff, but there was I just remember a lot of officers and stuff, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. So what are you seeking? You're thinking maybe what civil rights lawsuit or something?
Yeah. Just for, I mean, what would you recommend if had that been you? What would you do? What would you?
Yeah, well, see, I don't know all the facts of that case, but
yeah.
It sounds like, okay, he was convicted and then he served time for all of this. Did he? And this was like a year ago, so he got out of jail like a year ago.
Yeah, he's been on parole, because they put him on parole.
Okay, so how long has he been out? He's still on parole now, huh?
Yeah, he's actually about to get off. They're about to actually take him off parole. He's about to get off.
Okay. So he was like convicted like about a year and a half ago?
Yeah. He did a year and a half, and now he's been out about a year and a half.
Okay. Did he appeal his case?
No, because he doesn't know any of that. I know why I'm even, you know, talking to you right now.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate. I do, because I do a lot of advocacy with the whole CPS agency, you know, the corrupt, all that. I'm pretty sure maybe you possibly know a little bit, but so I deal with that. So I'm thinking it was straight out retaliation for the things that I say, the things that I share on my, you know, my social platforms and stuff. And they couldn't get me because I have a clean record. Not to say that I'm bragging, because it, you know, unfortunately they got away with, you know, with him, and it stuck because he's a felon. So of course, that's who's gonna question that? Of course, he's a bad guy, you know. So that's what they did, and that's what they did. So I'm just, you know, it might be difficult, because you're gonna, because
his case wasn't even appealed. I know he didn't represent himself in this trial, did he?
No, and because it was during it's because it was during the whole COVID, his dates kept getting postponed.
Was there a public defender? Did he have a public defender?
He did, but they kept literally, I'm not kidding you, because I was on it, even though I wasn't allowed to, I did actually show up a couple of times to a couple of the courthouses, but I wasn't allowed inside the actual, hearing or anything. I actually just went and then was basically told to leave. But every single one, I'm not kidding you, because I kept track, every single public defender, they had a different one for each hearing, every time. Either they would postpone it, either they would reschedule. It was just, just to, and then they were scaring him with 10 years because I guess they were trying to strike him out basically. So, and with adding those enhancements and stuff, but they had and the evidence that they did, whatever evidence they provided wasn't any. The only evidence that they used actually was. They used a detective that had nothing to do. So they were just adding people to the case that had nothing. They were just making stuff up as they went along. It was crazy. It was insane. Mm-hmm. So yeah. That's basically. I just want. If I can't. But at least I just wanted to see and try to get some sort of justice here because it's so unfair that these people are still out there probably. Who knows if they're going to do if they're someone else is going to fall victim to their wicked ways and that's not right. Mm-hmm.
So, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Because you're getting scrambled every once in a while.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the number of he's an attorney in Louis, and he does, all criminal work. Okay. And so if he doesn't, if it's something that he doesn't handle, he'll know he'll have an attorney that's a specialist in that. And it sounds like what you're dealing with is you're trying to sue for civil rights violations. Mm-hmm. And so, he would probably know the guy to go to for that. And then they'll evaluate your case and let you, here's how it would have to qualify if they could do anything. Yeah. So the guy's name is Steve Rodriguez.
Steve Rodriguez, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Steven Rodriguez. He's a great guy. I've met with the guy. And he's been practicing for almost 40 years now. Okay. So, he's 818. Okay. 464 0114. And I'm gonna double check that number and make sure I got it right.
Wow, 818. I haven't seen that in a long time. I'm originally from Alhambra, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are my stomping grounds over there. But I moved to the Inland Empire when I was a teenager. So. Yeah. So Steve Rodriguez. Okay.
Yeah, Steve Rodriguez and. I'm just making sure I have the number here.
Okay. Have you ever heard of a attorney by the name of Phil DeRoca?
Who?
Phil DeRoca.
No, DeRoca. That doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
Okay, so I have, let me see, 818-404. Oh, wait a minute. What the heck? Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, 818-404-0114.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, call them, and that guy would know. Yeah, he's in the middle of it. He's in like downtown Los Angeles and LAPD. They're famous for this kind of stuff too. So yeah, he would probably know. if it's not him, it'd be somebody, who's on this team.
What did you mean? What, for police misconduct or something?
Yeah, like all of that, everything around, and civil rights violations and that kind of stuff. So, talk to this guy, and then he would be able to let you know who's the best one for that.
Thank you.
And then they'll evaluate the case and see what it is.
Okay.
All right. Well, good luck with that. It's like it just. Sorry that happened to you, and sorry what happened to him.
Yeah.
But,
and to top it off, and I mean, not to take up any more of your time, but to top it off, like I said, I'm a very dedicated advocate, but not. Most importantly, I'm a mother. Besides all that, so I have been trying to. They wouldn't even give me a case plan. Okay, my son he's a 2.5 now. And like I said, he was taken at the hospital as a newborn. So this has been so just off the wall, traumatic and devastating. But they eventually, after that, when actually it was during when he was incarcerated, they terminated our rights. And this was even after the fact that I was trying to get, a case plan, trying to work with them, I even told them, drug test me if you have to. I literally went to the office and was begging them, crying on my knees, and they did nothing of the sort. And now I don't even know where my son is. So that's, it's just, something has to be done. And I'm not going to be okay with someone else ever having to go through what we went through, and so thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me ramble on.
So see if Stephen can help out, and or he'll know. He should know somebody who can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.